The air crackled with the sound of shuttlecocks being hit back and forth. It was summer, and the local badminton academy was bustling with energy. Among the enthusiastic players was a shy, lanky boy named MR.X. He was new to the academy and a little unsure of himself. On the adjacent court was a girl named Mrs. N, her laughter echoing through the hall as she aced her shots. She was a vision of grace and confidence, her ponytail bouncing with every move. MR.X couldn't help but steal glances at her between his own clumsy attempts at the game. David and Sarah's parents were always punctual, arriving precisely 30 minutes after the sessions ended. This unintended consequence of their parents' schedules meant that David and Sarah found themselves with a shared pocket of time every day. They would sit on the wooden benches outside the court, their badminton bags resting beside them. Initially, their conversations were hesitant, filled with awkward silences. But as the days turned into weeks, they found their rhythm, their shared love for the sport serving as a bridge between them. David learned that Sarah was a huge fan of K-pop, her favorite band being the global sensation BTS. Her eyes would light up as she talked about their music, their intricate choreography, and their positive message. David, who had never listened to K-pop before, found himself drawn to her passion. He would listen intently as she played her favorite songs on her phone, the unfamiliar melodies slowly growing on him. Their 30 minutes together became the highlight of David's day. He found himself looking forward to their conversations, to Sarah's infectious laugh, and to the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about something she loved. He would arrive at the academy early, eager to claim their spot on the bench and steal a few extra minutes with her. Sarah, too, enjoyed David's company. She appreciated his quiet humor, his genuine interest in her life, and his willingness to listen without judgment. They would talk about everything and nothing, their conversations flowing effortlessly. They shared their dreams, their fears, and their silly observations about the world around them. As their friendship deepened, David found himself falling for Sarah. Her kindness, her intelligence, her passion for life, everything about her drew him in. He wanted to impress her, to show her how much she meant to him. Knowing her love for K-pop, he decided to learn a few Korean words and phrases. He would surprise her by greeting her with a cheerful "안녕하세요" or complimenting her with a heartfelt "너무 예쁘다." Sarah was initially surprised by David's attempts at Korean. She found it endearing that he would go the extra mile to connect with her on something she loved. She would patiently correct his pronunciation, her laughter echoing through the empty hallway. David, far from being discouraged, was motivated by her response. He would spend hours practicing, determined to master the language. Their conversations gradually shifted from casual banter to something deeper. They discovered a shared love for fantasy novels, their favorite author being J.K. Rowling. They would spend hours discussing their favorite characters, debating plot twists, and imagining themselves in magical worlds. Their shared interests went beyond badminton and K-pop. They had a connection that ran deeper, a bond that was built on mutual respect, admiration, and a touch of innocent affection. As the days grew shorter and the air turned crisp, David knew he had to tell Sarah how he felt. He had never felt this way about anyone before. Sarah was not just his best friend. She was the girl of his dreams, the one who made his heart skip a beat with a simple smile. He decided to confess his feelings on Valentine's Day, hoping that the romantic atmosphere would give him the courage he needed. Valentine's Day arrived, and the badminton academy was adorned with heart-shaped balloons and streamers. David arrived early, his heart pounding in his chest. He had carefully chosen a small silver ring with a delicate heart-shaped pendant. It wasn't an expensive ring, but it held all the emotions he couldn't express in words. When Sarah arrived, her eyes widened in surprise at the sight of the decorated academy. She had always loved Valentine's Day, with its emphasis on love, friendship, and all things sweet. David greeted her with a nervous "안녕하세요," his palms sweating. Taking a deep breath, David gathered his courage. "Sarah," he began, his voice trembling slightly, I really like you. You're the most amazing girl I've ever met, and I can't imagine my life without you." He then pulled out the small box from his pocket and opened it, revealing the silver ring. "This is for you," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She had always cherished her friendship with David. Seeing him standing there, she realized her feelings ran deeper than friendship. "David," she replied, "I like you too. You're one of the kindest, funniest, and most genuine people I know." That Valentine's Day, amidst the scent of chocolate and roses, they shared their first kiss. They spent the afternoon walking hand in hand, sharing cotton candy and whispered secrets. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of happiness. However, fate had other plans. The local badminton academy announced its closure. The closure of the badminton academy was a blow to David and Sarah. It was more than just a place where they played sports. It was where their paths had first crossed, where their friendship had blossomed, and where their love story had begun. The last day at the academy was filled with a mix of sadness and nostalgia. As they packed away their badminton equipment, memories of their time together flooded their minds. They reminisced about their first meeting, their awkward initial conversations, and the gradual deepening of their bond. Although they were sad about the academy closing, David and Sarah were determined to keep their relationship alive. They promised to stay in touch, to call each other every day, and to meet up whenever possible. Little did they know that maintaining their connection wouldn't be as easy as they thought. The initial days following the academy's closure were filled with long phone calls and text messages. However, as time went on and life took over, their communication started to dwindle. David was busy with school and extracurricular activities, while Sarah found herself under increasing pressure to focus on her studies. The distance between them, both physical and emotional, began to grow. Their phone calls became less frequent, their text messages shorter and less enthusiastic. They still cared deeply for each other, but the spark that had once ignited their relationship seemed to be fading. Their once frequent meetups became rare occurrences. Their conversations strained as they struggled to find common ground. The easy banter they once shared was replaced with awkward silences, their shared dreams and aspirations now seeming worlds apart. One evening, during a particularly somber phone call, Sarah voiced what they both had been dreading. "David," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "I think we need to talk." They had been dancing around the issue for weeks, but deep down, they both knew that a difficult conversation was long overdue. Sarah explained that she needed to focus on her studies, that she couldn't give their relationship the attention it deserved. David, his heart sinking, understood where she was coming from. He too had been feeling the strain of maintaining their long-distance connection. With heavy hearts, they decided to end their relationship. It was a mutual decision, born out of love and a deep understanding of each other's needs. There were tears, unspoken words, and a profound sense of loss. Their first love, so pure, so innocent, had come to an end. Years later, long after the sting of their separation had faded, David still thought about Sarah occasionally. He would remember their time together fondly, the memory of their shared laughter and innocent kisses bringing a bittersweet smile to his face. He had moved on, as had Sarah, their lives taking different paths. He heard through mutual friends that she was doing well, pursuing her dreams with the same passion and determination she had shown on the badminton court all those years ago. David realized that some loves, like shooting stars, are meant to burn bright but brief. They leave behind a trail of beautiful memories, a reminder of a time when hearts were young and love was innocent and pure. He would always cherish the time they had spent together, grateful for the joy, the laughter, and the love they had shared.